Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Yacht-Master. You can see and you can purchase this Everose gold and stainless steel two-tone reference 116621 on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right-hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch, with additional accessories included in the sale, high-resolution images for your desktop, and naturally full pricing for this and our entire collection of pre-owned Rolex watches. Now on the wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, you can see that the size is similar to its older brother, the Rolex Submariner, but the case lines are a little bit sweeter, more delicate, more refined. It's a bit more versatile, not the full-bore tool watch that the Submariner is. It has a luxurious ambiance about its case, bezel, and dial, and that's by design. Originally conceived during the 80s as a sort of next-generation luxury Submariner, the Yacht-Master family ultimately debuted in 1992 as a parallel model line, one for enjoying at sea and on the water, but from the deck of your yacht rather than below the waves. So this is a sports watch in every sense and 100 meters water-resistant, but elegant and easily worn on a smaller wrist. It does fit a little bit more easily than a 40mm Supercase modern Sub-C, and you can see why. 40mm across the round of the case, that dimension is consistent, not inclusive of crown and crown guard, of course. That would make it just a bit over 40, but it's a thin watch, measuring only 11.5mm thick. It's a solid 1mm thinner than a Submariner. You can see that the lugs already are a little bit spare, tapered, more elegant, pared down compared to what you find on a Sub. And from lug to lug, there are two ways to measure the watch. It is 47.3mm from true lug to lug, but because of the solid end links of the bracelet, we're going to measure the actual distance across the wrist here. The solid end links extended to a still very manageable 50mm. Again, both dimensions a little bit more compact than a modern Sub. I would say you could easily wear this watch on a wrist as small. Yes, I would say 13.5 centimeters in circumference. You could still wear this watch with style and security with a handsome proportion. Now, I was at Basel World in 2006 when this model debuted. It was the first ever use of Everose Rolex Rose Gold, constructed in-house at their own foundry and turned into links and bezel with their own equipment, but the first ever use of rose gold and steel in a Rolex two-tone application in the Yacht-Master. So this watch was an important historic first for the brand. It's a natural match, although we'd seen two-tone in various forms, principally yellow gold and steel, as well as application of some platinum with stainless steel. This might be the best match for the Yacht-Master. The combination of the steel and the warmth of the rose gold, denoting a timepiece that sits somewhere between the dress style date 8s and date justs and the more aggressive GMTs and Submariners of the Rolex line. It's an easy watch to wear because the bracelet is of high quality, solid center links, solid end links, large gaps between the links. As you can see, the gaps themselves actually feature a rounded profile to avoid pinching skin and pulling hair. All sizing is done with screws, no pins and sleeves here. Very substantial, fully finished inside and out, two-tone clasp, naturally with a straight through, and you can even see that it features the Rolex Easy Link tool-free adjustment system. You can take in or take out 5mm of length. It's the equivalent of adding or removing one sizable link in the bracelet, and it allows you to fine-tune, especially on hot or cold days, periods of activity or inactivity. The case, like I said, is sweet and a little bit of a throwback. It's not the hard-edged, squared-off look of the GMT, the Deep Sea, the Sea Dweller 43, and the Sub. It has more in common, line-wise and proportionally, with something like the Daytona. Now you can see that the bezel is all of rose gold. There is effectively no insert in a traditional sense here, as it's simply a media blasted recess with polished raised numerals and indices. It is also bidirectional, so though you can easily line it up with a minute hand or an hour hand to time an interval that comprises a full circuit of the bezel, nevertheless it's not a diver because it could theoretically move in the wrong direction and extend your dive, plus there is no luminescent index. That said, it's a very convenient way of timing, for example, the intervals between your matches in regatta. It is a Yacht-Master after all. Now you'll also note that in addition to the solid gold bezel, beautiful rose gold hands and indices, the Yacht-Master was the first production Rolex sports watch during the 90s to use what later came to be called the maxi dial. First in 1992 on the Yacht-Master, it included larger indices with larger luminescent plots. Later in 2003, it made its first appearance on the Submariner in the Anniversary sub, and with the Sub C, it became a permanent part of the line. So the dial doesn't look quite as dramatically different as it used to. Nevertheless, it's important to remember where this design started. Now, what you see here with the red Yacht-Master script, the rose gold accents, of course the gilt-style rose gold printing, that came out in 2016. Rolex calls this dial quite simply matte black. It is an anti-glare finish. This is one of the best choices if you want a Rolex Yacht-Master to read in direct sunlight because it doesn't have the blinding glare of the sunburst dials. You'll also note, quite simple with the Cyclops Eye magnifier over the date, what's inside? Well, let's go under the hood. If we are Yacht-Masters after all, not all of us are sailors, let's talk about engines. Rolex caliber 3135, 31 joules, automatic winding, 48-hour power reserve. Thanks to screw-down crown and screw-in case back, 100 meters water resistance protects it. It has both a full balance bridge and a free-sprung balance, the two features contributing to shock resistance. It is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer. It receives the certificate, it goes back to Rolex, it gets cased up, and then Rolex tests it again, not only to make the COSC tolerances, but to achieve better than COSC. COSC is -4 plus 6 over 24 hours, no worse. Rolex superlative chronometer standard is no worse than -2 plus 2. Moreover, it has a Breguet over coil hairspring, which means it has resistance to positional or gravitationally induced timing deviation. That's important because you never know what angle the watch will be on your bureau or wrist. Furthermore, it's a parachrom blue alloy that's also robustly anti-magnetic. All of that plus hacking or stop seconds to synchronize, for instance, to your regatta timer. And of course, it features a quick set for the date so you can rapidly correct should the watch run down or encounter an irregular length month. You can see this handsome rose gold and stainless steel Rolex Oyster Perpetual Yacht-Master and purchase it on our website. Quick, what brand is this? I think the hour hand gives up the game. I promised you a maxi dial and here it is. This is the Rolex Yacht-Master, rose gold and stainless steel in blue Rolex Chromolite lume.